I know for me, it seems like these ideas are a little bit of a whisper, and sometimes they're fleeting. Like you just miss it, and you're like, "Oh, it would have been cool to do that," but they left. And like any good salesperson, since we have thousands of salespeople listening to this, it's when you get in the car after the call that you're like, "Oh, you know what I should have said? That would have been great." Do you have any advice for us on how to recognize these better in the moment, or when you realize that timing? I guess we're in our behavior thing. How do we do the right thing at the right time and not? Sometimes that gives, maybe you could correct me on this one, and maybe it's a second question. So sometimes I hate it when I give my guests 3 questions, but I also feel like,
keep on going. I have them all up here.
Yeah.
I'll answer them in the
So, all right. So the second part of the question is, sometimes I'm too early too, that I want to do something unreasonable, or I want to connect with somebody and they're a complete stranger, and it feels weird giving them a special gift. And I guess sometimes it can be more magical, but I also feel like sometimes I hold on or hold back because I'm like, I don't know this person well enough to really wow them with the love, care, and attention that you're talking about.
Okay, so I have 3
So the
things.
big question is, how do I do the right thing at the right time? How do I not screw it up and go early or late?
So one is, I don't think that there's like, the window doesn't ever fully close on generosity and graciousness. If you met with someone and then afterwards you're like, oh shoot, I wish I'd done this, you can still do it. And right, like, just put yourself in the position of the person you're serving. If someone was serving you and 3 days later than they should have, they sent you some awesome gift that made you feel seen, you're gonna be like, damn them. Like, no, obviously not.
Yeah.
That's one. 2, I do believe when you talk about the early thing that you need to be willing to take hospitable leaps of faith sometimes, and know that sometimes it's gonna fall flat. Like, we did thousands of these gestures and like probably 2% of them just didn't land. Right. But I would always tell my team, like, I'd rather us do thousands and have 98% work than always play it safe and only do a few hundred and be batting 100%. And so, like, you can't let the moments where things fall flat compel you to never try again. I wouldn't be married if that were the case. But the other thing I'd say is this. I believe one of the most effective ways to integrate these ideas into a culture in a consistent and sustainable way is not with the improvisational reactive things I'm talking about. Those are special. Those are the legends. Those do a lot of heavy lifting in terms of getting the culture to understand these principles and compelling the world to understand that this is how you think. But I think through simple pattern recognition of recurring moments, you can do pretty extraordinary work. Anyone, whatever you do, if you actually take a few hours with your team and start to think about all the recurring moments that happen. So like in a restaurant, someone's celebrating a birthday, someone's getting engaged, someone's celebrating an anniversary. A table of 4 shows up as a table of 3 because one person got sick and had to stay home. Someone's on their way to the airport after their meal. Someone says, oh man, I drank too much, I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. Whatever they are, the things that just happen consistently. And then through a bit of intention and creativity, prepare in advance a toolkit of things that you're going to deploy when those things happen. You don't need to be creative in the moment. You know that these things are going to happen anyway, and now you know exactly how you're going to make someone feel special when they do.
I love that. That's exactly the answer I was looking for. So thank you for decoding my question. At Sandler, sometimes we talk about if it happens 3 or more times in a relatively short amount of time. So it kind of depends on your sales cycle or how long you're with clients and things. But if something comes up 3 or more times that you're like, ooh, I'm getting a message here that this is a repeating pattern, not like just, oh, once a year we have to plan for this because something crazy happened. But if it's happening on a regular basis, that's something that you can plan for. You can make a best practice, a playbook.
I guarantee you there's more recurring moments than any group will be able to figure out how to react to for a very long time, right? There's a long list. No matter what you do, there's a long list, and it'll take you a couple of years before you've chipped away through every single one of them. It doesn't take time to find them.